Gibbo presents.
It's Gibbo, and right now I'm joined by a young reggae and dancehall artist who originally hails from Jamaica, but who now resides in Queens, New York. It is Kranium.
Yep, I'm here. What's going on, man?
Your single, Nobody Has to Know, has springboarded you from an artist with a following in Queens and New York to an artist with a following around the world in a pretty short space of time.
Yeah.
Was there a moment when you suddenly realised that this single was going to reach heights your previous songs hadn't, and that it was going to be a worldwide hit?
I don't think nobody can predict what can happen or what's going to happen. I think as an artist, when you find a track that you think that sounds very good or sound different, you're excited about the track, but you never know what's going to happen, because music is a thing where it's very congested. There's a lot of artists and there's a lot of competition at the end of the day. So it's more like you're not sure about what's going to happen, but you're more excited about what could happen, if you understand what I mean. So that's what's more that's all the best I could answer that question.
In my mind, there's a couple of ways when you can tell a song is a big hit.
Yeah.
Number one, you hear a lot of selectors and sounds playing it on dub plates.
True.
And two, when you notice an artist's bookings increasing a lot off the back of it.
True.
And both of those boxes were certainly ticked by Nobody Has to Know.
Yeah, that's true. I had to work, I did these dubs because I realized that a lot of people don't realize that dubs play a valuable part in dancehall music. It's a part of their culture. So dubs help give that boost, because when a person can play a banging song with his team or his name in it, it's everything to them. So dubs is one of those things that really works. It's a very good way of promoting yourself, So I definitely jump and I did so much dubs for that one song, man. I can't even keep count. I think I got like 400 already. So dubs really work.
Naturally, you do a lot of shows in the Northeasts, and I've noticed you're jetting off to Belize and Guyana in April.
Yeah.
But you've also done quite a few shows in Florida recently. Why do Floridians love Kranium so much? Does it have anything to do with the fact you used to live there for a short period of time?
I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't even know, to be honest. But I think Florida is one of them, like, in Florida, there's a lot of Jamaicans that's there, and as you know, the music, we sing reggae, so down there is more popular for, like, reggae, so it's a good space for every reggae artist, actually. Florida, you could go Tampa, Jacksonville, West Palm Beach, go up the whole thing, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. There's a lot of Jamaicans, so I guess that's what really happened with me. Because I realized, the funny thing is I didn't even realize how much dates I had in Florida until I'm like there going back and forth. I'm like, hold on. It seems like this is a Florida thing, but, there's a lot of Jamaicans over there, so I guess that's what really made me over there that much.
More evidence of the success of Nobody Has to Know was the fact that it featured in Hot 97's Battle of the Beats competition, and shortly after this you also did a video interview with Cypher Sounds and Ebro, which is featured on the Hot 97 YouTube channel. Plenty of artists feature in the Battle of the Beats and don't get invited for an interview. So were you surprised when you received the invite?
I was very surprised. Actually, I was in Jamaica, actually. I was like a vacation in Jamaica, and I got the call. My manager called me and said, yo, man, you have the Hot 97 interview. I'm like, word? I was like, okay, cool, I'm going back up. If I even had a longer time, I'll just cut it short. Because, Hot 97 is as big as you can get in New York City. Once you make it to Hot 97, you know that you're doing something very good. So I was very shocked, man. When it was so great meeting those people. I went to school here, so in high school, I always been a musician, so I always listen to the radio. So at 97, like Cypher, Sound, and Hebrew, those guys I've been listening for years. So for me to get a chance to meet them and actually sit and have them interview me was like one of the greatest feelings, man. So I was super excited about that.
Of course, Massive B, Young Chow and Cypher
Yeah,
Sounds represent for the dancehall and reggae fraternity on Hot 97. But
yeah.
as you said, I think it's primarily a hip hop and R&B station. So I guess that makes your accomplishments even more impressive.
Way more impressive because he's not only, the funny thing is not, you have that music, that radio station that plays reggae, and they play the hip hop and things, mostly hip hop. And Funk Master Flex play the track, Mr. C play the tracks, and those are like hip hop heads. Mr. C, that big, the whole biggie thing. So, it was like at 97 gave me that full support, so it's crazy, man. I can't even explain it, honestly.
Speaking of hip hop and R&B, let's touch on Banky Hype's Raw Raw remix
Yeah.
of Nobody Has to Know, which, in my opinion, has further extended the appeal of the single and has
Yeah.
taken it to an even wider audience. Did Banky approach you about doing the remix?
The craziest thing is I had no idea about the whole Banky thing. I didn't know nothing about it. Me and Banky is good friends. We never had a conversation about it. I just woke up one day and was like, yo, you hear the remix? I'm like, nah, I didn't hear the remix. I was like, yeah, man, there's a remix. So when they sent it to me and I listened to it, I was like, it's sick. Because if you realize in the beginning of the song when I said, baby, Chris Brown actually said, baby, in the same tone. So it was like, amazed me. Because I didn't even realize how close we was actually with that same, the first key. So I guess that's what he heard. And say, yo, it's so funny that you said the baby the same way, just one key high and one key down. So I was like, once I heard it, I was like, yeah, it's crazy. And Hot 97 played that every single morning. Cypher Sound played that every morning on 97. So it was like, he really pushed it to that, to give that American appeal, that Caribbean appeal, So it's a good look.
Do you feel there are any disadvantages to having such a big hit so relatively early on in your career? Does it now mean that you're under pressure to recreate this success?
To be honest with you, I wouldn't say I'm under pressure. The reason why I would say I'm not under pressure is because in the space of finding Nobody Has to Know, I was always recording. So I have songs on top of songs on top of songs. The problem is when you get a hit song and you don't have enough work or enough projects to follow up back, that's the problem. But I have enough tracks that I'm sitting uncomfortable, like, yo, this I gotta work. But I'm still working, still finding these tracks because lifestyle is now picking up. So it's not really pressure, it's just more like a motivation. And one thing about music too that I could explain, that I could express to any other artist that's coming up like myself, is that once you find that one song, it's like a big motivation because you want it so much, you get used to the lifestyle. So it's not more of a depression. It's not more like a pressure, it's more like an upliftment for me.
Your follow-up single, Lifestyle, certainly is picking up, which is on LMR Pro's Love Notes rhythm and is out now on iTunes.
Yeah.
Although it has a very different sound and feel to Nobody Has to Know, one similarity I see between the two songs is that they both have a really catchy chorus which gets stuck in your head all day and you find yourself singing along to.
Yeah.
Is a catchy chorus an essential part of every Kranium song?
Every single Kranium song is very catchy. And I always tell my partner this, that listen, when I'm writing music, it's not, because music changes. It's not like back in the days when people used to be like, oh, you heard what he just said. It was more like a lyrics thing back then. It was like, oh, you heard that? It was like, it was more of like, I would say like, who's the best lyricist? No, it's not that. No, it's who can make people feel happy. Because at the end of the day, if I'm in a car driving on a highway, I don't want to really hear nothing I have to think too hard about. I want something easy, like nobody enough, I could sing along, or buy when you want, buy. It's more like, it have to be something that's more relatable to you personally. That's how I do my music. So I make them very catchy and make sure the song makes sense and make it have concept, because concept is the next important thing. Concepts is what makes songs these days. So the topic is the most important thing. So make it catchy and have a sick topic. Easy go through.
As we speak, the video for Lifestyle was just released yesterday. I'm presuming the budget for this video was a bit bigger than it was for Nobody Has to Know.
Yeah, it was. We actually flew in the guy from France. He came in. Shout out to Joe. All eyes on it. He's the one that shot the video. And man, I love the video. I saw the video. I was so amazed, man, because he took it to a different, it made Kranium look like Kranium that Kranium's supposed to look like. You understand? We have a lot more work to do with him. So yeah, shout out to all eyes on it. It was a bigger budget.
Yeah, in my opinion, the video is of a very high standard, courtesy of All Eyes on It from out of Paris, France.
Yeah.
Did he come up with the concept for the video too?
Yeah, he did everything. The funny thing is, we did that video in like at least like 3 days, I think. Actually, 2 days, because the day that we were supposed to shoot, I think there was a snowstorm because it was very cold. The video might look like it's summer, but it was cold as hell, man. And I think he had to leave when the storm came. So he's so great because the little piece that he had, he chopped it up and did his thing, man. I'm amazed by the whole video thing. So it's crazy.
As your lifestyle improves and you can buy what you want and fly where you want, or at least you're moving towards that anyway, how do you manage to make sure that complacency doesn't begin to creep in and that you remain as hungry and driven as you ever were?
I think one of my thing that I use and say that, listen, you cannot stop, because with music, for me, is not just music. A lot of people, music is just they just go in a booth and sing. Music is everything to me, because I watch my uncle. Shout out to Screwdriver. He was a veteran in business. He sang "Shana Pregnant to Pregnant," those type of songs. He was a big back in the days, and I watch him up there and take time fade, and he's the one who actually taught me to sing. So I use, it's like his lifestyle back then. I'm like, he's reflecting through me in a sense, because I see where he was up there and he just came to nothing, and it was so sad, man. And still my uncle, I go to visit him every now and then, so I don't want to end up on that stage. So he always say, yo, we need to bring it a little higher than we are brought it. So I'm fully motivated and fully focused on what I want to do, fully focused.
How selective are you about the producers you work with? I'm sure since Nobody Has to Know came out, there's been a lot of calls coming through from producers wanting to voice you on their rhythms.
Yeah, a lot of producers calling, but with me, I'm very selective in a sense, because I'm funny with sounds. I know exactly the sound that I want to hear. You understand? So it's like, for you to send me a rhythm and I hear it, even if it's a dope rhythm, I'll be like, it's not mine. I don't feel like I belong on that type of beat. So I'm very selective with the type of beats that I go on, because I'm trying to be as authentic as possible. I don't want to be like everybody else. I'm trying to be as much authentic. So far, Ricky Blaze and LMR is the two producers that I work close with. And Teflon from Zinc Fence. You know that Chronic's behind curtain, and Chronic. Teflon. So that's who I mainly work with. So it's Teflon, LMR, and Ricky Blaze. They give me that sound that I want to have so far. But I'm willing to listen to other producers' beat and see if I like it, then I record it. Yeah.
You were born in Jamaica, then you moved to the US in 2005. First to Florida, then you relocated to Queens. How did that move affect and change you? What did you find it hard adjusting to or getting used to in America?
Well, the only thing that bothers me from Florida was that when I landed in Florida, I was staying by my uncle, who's a screwdriver. Once again, he's a veteran in the music business. So he taught me a lot of things. I used to get up early in the morning. He plays guitar, plays keyboard, teach me how to breathe. Say, yo, stop DJ. You need to start singing better, stuff like that. So when I moved from it, was like I was all on my own. Because I always loved music. Music was what I wanted. So it was more like, I'm in this world by myself now, man. He's not here, no more teaching. So I had to just learn by myself. So that was the biggest change. I didn't care about moving or meeting new people. That's the least. Everybody have to, you have to move on in life. But that was the hardest thing, to know that he was getting such a great teaching and you didn't get fully teaching. That was the only thing.
So it wasn't a culture shock at all coming to America?
Nah, it wasn't really, because I'm a person. I get along with everybody, and it's like, I always like cultural stuff. Like I like different stuff ever since I was young. So it was fun for me moving and coming to America to see what it's really like, So it wasn't that hard.
Tell me how we see the Queens in you now. How is a man from Queens different to a man from Brooklyn or the Bronx?
Queens is more of the reserve, but yet full of party vibes. Like in Queens, is like Queens guys. Them is more like, we are like the Benz them, and they were more like, the uptown side. Brooklyn is more like the real street thing. You know, you get the real vibes. You get that you would have called it Dirty Fridays, or you call it Jiggy Wednesdays, or the Hot Mondays. You understand? And then Bronx is actually becoming like Brooklyn now. So Brooklyn people is mostly laid back now than Bronx, but Queens is more like, the uptown type vibes a party. Right, the more uptown type-ish guys, I would say.
The EP's title, Voice of the City, do you feel that's what you are at the moment when it comes to reggae and dancehall music in New York?
Yeah, I would definitely say that. I think I'm one of those artists that is lucky out of the bunch to actually step on the forefront and made a name for themselves, not just in Queens but internationally, So I would say that's the main idea, Vice of the City. I think I represent the city in dancehall, and I don't think nobody could go around that. Else they would be a wicked person, actually. Yeah, because I work hard for this, man.
Considering the size of the reggae and dancehall scene in New York and the history the city has when it comes to reggae music, there really is a bit of a drought at the moment when it comes to young and up and coming artists who have a following outside of the Big Apple. Do you think this could have contributed to your success as the selectors and sounds and the public in New York were just waiting for a reggae artist they could call their own and rally behind?
Yeah, I definitely think so. And at the end of the day, I think it's about the material that the artist has, because there's a lot of artists here in New York that I hear, and I'll be like, okay, them and that same thinking thing. So for me, it's more like the material that I came with. My type of tracks that I came with, they couldn't resist, because at the end of the day, a lot of people know nobody has to know, but I always have a song before that. For like 4 years straight, I always have a banging song in the summer in New York City. It just happened that nobody has to take me further. So I think it's the material, and a lot of artists get played here. You have artists that getting played in New York, but it's just that the material is not good enough to go beyond New York. You understand what I mean? For them to be like fully back supportive of you. I think people have to see a work ethic for them to actually support it. Because once they see a work in, they more to come along. You understand? Because at the end of the day, when nobody has to know what's coming out, I don't think I got support from everybody. I got support from who always supported me. But when they see the things start pick up more than the days start coming, they be like, yo, Kranium, I go and go in and make your help by you. Because it's like sometimes people you have to move for people to follow you. So I guess that's what really happened for me.
I've heard you say previously that you think you have benefited as a reggae artist based in America as opposed to Jamaica, and that you think New York is a great city for an artist to reside in. In a time when the Billboard Reggae album chart is dominated by American reggae artists, do you feel that when it comes time for you to release an album, that you'll be in a better position to feature in the charts due to the fact that you're based in the US and not Jamaica?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. Because in the thing in America is that I think with Jamaica is, you have less iTunes and stuff like that for them to have access to your music more. So, because in Jamaica, you gotta wait on music. People have computer, but let's be realistic. You have the countryside that don't really have those stuff. So most of the music is played off CD. So it take a while for you the song to circulate. But when you're in America, there's so much access to internet that you could just post. Nobody has to know, and all this stuff like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all these things, and the traffic comes in. If you understand what I'm trying to say. So in Jamaica, it's a little bit harder, I would think. It's just the only thing in America is harder for the fact for being played. In Jamaica, it's easier for you to get played because in Jamaica, that's where the root, the culture is. But here, the internet is everything. Like the social media is what make an artist more have a faster chance of being on the charts and stuff like that.
Kranium, thanks a lot for your time. Just before we finish, let everyone know how they can keep up to date with everything you're doing online. Plug the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter.
Yeah, they could follow me on Instagram at Kranium1. That's Kranium, the number one. You could follow me on Twitter at The Real Kranium. And my Facebook is www.facebook.com/Kranium Music. So that's Kranium Music. And you'll find me everywhere. And remember, go download that song on iTunes. Nobody has to know. You could go get Lifestyle on iTunes also.
Gibbo.